High five.
High five.
What's up, guys? Xavier here with you on the How'd You Do It podcast, and I'm honoured to have my good little mates, Ronnie and Nessa Merrell, back on the show. I was saying to the girls, the last time we spoke to each other, we did an interview, it was this year, right?
Yeah,
it was that playlist. We were in, like, it felt like an airport lounge. People were commenting, they're like, where are you guys? Like, what's going on? Now we're in the real stuff, where we actually shoot. So thank you for coming on. How you guys doing?
Thank you for having us. We're doing great.
I'm assuming you saw the new YouTube Rewind that came out?
Yes, we did.
I wanted to what do you think of this one?
So you want to know what's crazy?
Yes.
Is because we have like 1 second of us in it, YouTube sent it to us before it came out.
Just to approve it, because they were like, we know you got a lot of backlash last year. We just want to make sure you're okay with whatever this little clip that you're in. And we're like, okay, sure.
So we watched it. And so when I watched it, the first thing that didn't come to my mind was this is a top 10 video, right? I just like watched it and I was like, hi, I like this. I don't think it's like it doesn't favor any YouTubers. You don't see like the YouTubers that are always in YouTube Rewind. And I pretty much enjoyed it. And YouTube even told us that it was PewDiePie approved.
Is that good?
I think it is.
We don't know, but I think so.
It's a very good thing.
I don't know. I personally liked it just because it was just different, and it exposed to my. We were able to see other YouTubers that I didn't know existed, and I feel like ignorant saying that because there's so many creators on the platform, just worldwide and international, that you just don't know. And so I thought it was really cool to see those creators and see what they're doing and what they're accomplishing.
Well, and not only that, YouTube told us that they had analysts looking at all the most liked videos like nonstop, and they were actually changing YouTube Rewind in like the top 10s of these categories until it was supposed to be released, because they were keeping live track of the analytics and stuff.
Jeez, did you think it was a good idea what they came up with this year after the I guess backlash that happened last year?
You know, what other way? I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like it was good.
I feel like what happens with YouTube, like now, especially with whatever they're going to do, it's just always going to be a hit or miss with everyone. And everyone's going to have something to say about it, which is fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But you can't please everyone. And I think what was great about YouTube Rewind was getting all of the other creators in it. But this year, there's no acting. No one was pretending to be something, little scenes. So I think a lot of people maybe missed that factor in it, but at the same time,
it's just like this. I feel like YouTube are in such a tough place this year. It's like they're damned if they do, damned if they don't.
Yes, exactly.
Did you see a preview? Did YouTube send you a preview last year?
No.
Right. When you first watched it, did you have any idea that it would go the way it went?
Last year's?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was good.
Genuinely thought it was good, but we got a lot of hate for the K-pop area, and so I was just kind of like, what? I was like shook, to be honest, that it got really that much hate.
It's the most disliked video.
So we made history.
Yeah, we're part of history.
Can you believe it? And I went back and watched it this morning, and I think a lot of people did the same thing, right? So they saw this year's, and they went, okay, and they went back and watched the last year's one, and it's just full of comments being like, all right, maybe this wasn't so bad. Like, maybe we overreacted. You know? Yeah, like, I don't know, and I don't know whether they're saying I guess it's kind of implying that they don't like this year's, because I guess people don't like any of the YouTube Rewinds now, but I think people are realizing that, I mean, like, in my opinion, the production value was through the roof. It was unbelievable. The people, when you're in the business, like, we're all producers, right? Like, we're producing a show right now, and me to just for you guys out there, just for me to get the girls here, for the crew to get here, camera guys, there's a lot of people going on behind the scenes. For YouTube to produce a segment like that was incredible. And
insane.
It was unreal, and the amount of people, like the amount of moving parts that they would have had to deal with to produce that is incredible. And I just can't believe how much hate it got, really.
Honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat, because we are on a lot of productions, and you're right, there's so many people that go into making something, especially something like that with such high production, that the fact that it just got totally bashed on. Like, those poor people, that was their job, and they're just like, man.
Yeah.
You know, but you just can't really please everyone at the end of the
What
day.
do you think it was specifically that people hated so much?
That their favorite creators weren't in it.
Right.
Okay.
I think what it was that a lot of people didn't appreciate that PewDiePie wasn't in it and that the T-Series thing wasn't going on. Like, that was going on during that, and that wasn't mentioned in the video. You heard about that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like, that was a big part of
YouTube that year.
2018 that they didn't mention. And I think, like, even the year before, I think what people would get mad about is YouTube was focusing on things that some people hadn't even heard of. Like, I know we were part of a segment where there was like a train and everything, and apparently it was like a viral video that went around and was very viral of like snow hitting people. But I never saw that in 2017. I never saw that train video, and I only heard about it because of YouTube Rewind.
Right.
So it's like, it was almost like, you know, people had their opinions on what should have been in YouTube Rewind and what shouldn't based on what they saw that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess people just, it's kind of like music, right? Like, I could listen to a Screamo song and be like, I don't really like this song because it's not my cup of tea, right? But there could be someone else who loves like heavy metal, Screamo, and they love it, right? It just is everyone's preference, and they just feel like they have an opinion.
For sure. We got a few fans chiming in on this.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
Rizza the Penguin wrote, I almost feel they should do a rewind for each continent, but that's money.
That's a good idea,
That is
but
money.
That is money, yes.
A double G80 wrote, love them. Can't imagine hating on the twins.
Aw, thank
and then,
you. That's sweet.
And then Christina Porsche wrote, I agree. Everyone overreacted.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I'm like, I feel like they did.
When you get home, you should go and look at last year's video, and all the comments of people who have just seen the most current one, and they're like, oh, like, this was actually really good. Like, we went a bit over the top. I did read a couple of articles about people trying to dissect why they got the reaction they did, and the general consensus of it was that it generally it seemed like it was more directed at advertisers. More so, it seemed like it was a giant advertisement for potential advertisers, and that's what a lot of people didn't like. That it was this like sort of polished product to get more money onto the platform.
I see.
Let alone it bit like, you know, instead of being about a a general sort of recap for fans and you know, for the people that are the existing fans that are already on there and the content creators, it was more for someone else, and I guess that sort of made it feel disgenuine, and I guess in turn become the most hated YouTube video ever.
Well, I also think a lot of it...
Sensitive, very sensitive.
Very sensitive. I think there's also this thing going on right now called cancel culture.
Yep.
Oh.
Where it's just so easy to just hop on something and just hate on it just because everyone else is doing it, and when you really don't, like, actually form your own opinion. Like, maybe that's what's happening to YouTube Rewind right now, is that everyone's going back and saying, like, well, this actually wasn't that horrible. Why did we all hate on it? Well, because everyone was, and it was just the thing to do.
Yep.
Like, I saw so many memes about it.
Yep.
And, you know, I
have two, I totally agree with you, and I have two other trends that I get particularly upset about, right?
What is it?
The hating pineapple on pizza trend.
Do you like pineapple on pizza?
I do not just like pineapple on pizza. I love pineapple on pizza, and I will fight anyone, right? I will fight you. Not really.
I
But
don't
like,
mind it.
I get upset about it. The other one is CrossFit. If you mention I did CrossFit for a bit this year, and I really enjoyed it, you know. People just lose their mind about CrossFit. Like, there's a whole stigma about CrossFit people and stuff. I found myself getting into many verbal arguments about that as well. I'm like, and then I'd be like, this is a trend. You're a follower. And pineapple on pizza rules.
Very passionate about the true subject.
I get really upset. I mean, the pineapple on pizza, that one really gets me, but like the CrossFit one annoys me too.
Well, I like pineapple on pizza.
IMOC says pineapple on pizza is great.
I love you.
Oh.
Don't read that other comment.
the other comments.
Yeah, okay, I'm getting I just got cancelled.
No.
Damn, you guys are savage. That was quick.
That was funny.
There's plenty of things I don't like. I don't start trends about it, you know? I don't really like pumpkin. I don't start an internet trend about it.
Yeah, I don't
you know?
really like pumpkin either.
Yeah, textures. I mean, I'll eat it, but the texture's a bit weird, you know? Like, that's just me. I don't, like, force it upon everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, so speaking about rewinds, and I did see that you guys jumped on YouTube in 2009, 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and I also really liked the video you guys put out about then and now, like YouTube then and now, and going through and sort of like, you know, giving your own reenactment and commentary on a lot of things that are going on. Can you tell me some key differences, so you said you started uploading about 7 years ago.
Yes.
So say, like, go back about 5 or 6 years ago, say, when you were kind of in the earlier stages. Tell me what you think of, like, what YouTube was like for the process of it was like for you then compared to what it is now.
I think the biggest difference from what it was like then versus now that we didn't mention in the video is we could upload anything. There was no limits to what we could upload. We had our like ideas were so diverse and so different. I feel like we still try to make our ideas very diverse and different and stuff, but back then you could do anything, get away with any types of jokes, and we're very PG on our channel, but even still we could say a lot of things that we weren't restricted and stuff.
Right.
But nowadays, I think the thing that hinders us the most is that we do have to think of like a good title. We have to make sure the thumbnail's good. We have to make sure we don't say certain words or make sure it's edited to this length. When back in the day we could have done
make like
anything.
a 2-minute video and it would go super viral. We never had that happen.
But it could happen to other people.
Yeah, it happens to other people. But anyways, which there's nothing wrong with the way YouTube is now. Just back then, it was just a little bit more.
We had a lot more freedom. But it makes sense because even back then, my dad immediately was like, we can't use copyrighted music because someday YouTube is going to do something about this.
Yep.
And
like,
my
be
dad ended
cautious
up being
with
right.
logos.
Yeah,
He was ahead of it.
Yeah.
because he's been in the production, the business for a really long time, so he knew all of that stuff. So we've never gotten copyright striked for stuff unless we intentionally did like a parody or something
Or a cover.
Where you were happy to just take the hit.
Yeah. So there's just, it really has changed, but it makes sense. There's laws and stuff people need to follow. And, you know, we still make it fun for us, even though we're kind of restricted sometimes.
Do you think it's funny because I think you're absolutely correct. Like, your content definitely is very PG and all that, but it's actually not even about being PG. It's more so about, would you agree, being politically correct? Right? There's a lot of things like I watched Eddie Murphy's stand-up special from like the 80s, like what is it? Delirious. Wow. Like, I remember watching that when I was in like high school, and I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. I watch that now, and I'm like, can't say that, dude. Can't say that word. Can't call them that. That's a minority. Rethink that. Like, Eddie Murphy would not get away with it right now, like these days.
Yeah. It's definitely become harder for comedy to put jokes out and stuff. I know there's a lot of other comedians who just like kind of don't care, which is good for them. But at the same time, in the YouTube world,
I think, you know,
here on YouTube.
I'm here on YouTube. Gotta be careful.
There's a difference from, you know, just being like saying ignorant jokes and like self-aware jokes. Like, I know there's a lot of people who do still joke like that, but can get away with it somehow. Like, I don't know, like take Pete Davidson, for example. He has like a bit about 9/11 and he jokes about it, and it's really, because it's about him and he's making fun of himself, he can get away with it. But if other people were to do that, oh my gosh, like, it would be absolutely horrible if they said the things that he said. I guess it's just how the comedian approaches it, how they say it, how they do it. I think that goes for like YouTubers too, like how they approach like these sensitive topics and stuff. You know, it just depends.
Sure, because you're right. Like, a comedian's job it's almost shock value is their job. That's, you know, they say things that you're not used to hearing.
Right.
And it seems like now they've really got to toe the line of like, you know, still getting that shock value, but not making it too shocking.
Yeah. Right. And it's just, I don't
It's this
even
weird
know.
line right
It's a
now.
weird-
We'll see
yeah.
where it ends up going.
What about social media? Say Instagram. If you remember uploading your mentality towards uploading an Instagram post, say 5 or 6 years ago, as opposed to now.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh. You see my first earlier pictures, I was posting pictures of pomegranates in my hand, like the little seeds, or like a really close selfie where I'm like, ee. Like, it's just, back then I didn't care.
Yeah.
But like now, it's turned into such a business
Yep.
where like whatever you're posting, you got to keep in mind that brands are looking at your Instagram page. If you post something scandalous or you post a crazy caption, everyone might talk about it, or like the brand might drop you or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it's just, or the picture has to be good quality, and if it's not, everyone will be upset.
And they won't like it.
Yeah. There's a serious like production value standard now, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it's too far and your face isn't close enough, it'll get less likes. If your face is
it's-
close,
If it's
like
blurry.
little details like that. It's crazy.
And just the fact that we even overthink all that is
Yeah.
crazy itself.
Well, it's almost like strangling it, really. It's like people are probably putting out less. They're going for a quantity over quality approach because they're like, they've got to uphold this standard. So they're like, I want to post that, but, as you said, my face is, I'm in the background,
Right.
or I'm,
Yeah.
I'm too far back, or this. And all of a sudden, people aren't really posting things. They want to post something, but they're going to go with something else because they know they're adhering to the sort of rules or what does well.
Right.
And I mean, it's at the end of the day, like, it actually is a reflection on ourselves, right? So
Yeah.
girls are going, hey, like, I posted this picture of, my favorite book. Didn't really do well, but when I was in a bikini, it did really
so
well.
good,
So it's like, as a society, we're perpetuating it. We're literally saying, this is what we want to see. And so girls and guys are going, okay, well, guys are going, geez, like, they just want to see my abs again. Well, I
Okay,
guess,
here we
like,
go.
I feel like a douchebag doing this, but like, that's what I guess people want to see. So here's now a page full of my abs and
Right.
my, substance is out the
And
window.
I think something that is not really talked about, and you mentioned it the other day, Ronnie, is that apparently social media, in order to be confident, you have to pose like in a shirtless selfie,
yeah.
or you have to be in a bikini in order to be like, I am confident in myself.
Yeah, so we did a video where it was the makeover challenge, and she gave me this makeover where I was in this tight dress, had a blue wig. I looked completely
She
different.
looked
I
so
looked
different. She looked great, though.
I think I looked crazy, but
No, she looked amazing.
a lot of people were saying, Ronnie, you look so good. And then there was a lot of other comments saying, Ronnie, you need to dress this way. No wonder why you're not. If you dress this way, you would be more confident. And I was like, do they not realize that I'm confident wearing this? Like,
Yeah.
I'm confident wearing, like, T-shirts and jeans. I'm not confident wearing that.
Yeah.
But because society thinks that wearing that kind of stuff makes you confident, or it's just perpetuated that way, it's just a weird thing. It's so odd.
And I guess the point is, you can be confident no matter what. You don't have to pose like that. And if you want to pose like that, then that's great. If that's what makes you confident, that's perfect. But I think social media really goes in and say, like, you have to post a shirtless selfie or a bikini picture in order to tell people that you're confident. But that's not the case. You can take any picture and be confident in it and show confidence.
For sure. What I wanted to ask you about was, well, how do you guys feel about, I know it hasn't been implemented completely yet into the US, but the likes being taken away. How does that, I guess it's different for you guys because you guys this is sort of your job. How does it affect you?
I don't know.
I don't really know how it's going to affect me.
Because, like, for those who don't know this, like, I'm sure you know too, when you do a branded post, later on the brand asks you
How many
give me
likes?
the analytics of how that post did. So then you have to send them a screenshot of how well the post did, like how many likes, how many impressions, all this stuff, like the activity, the engagement, and you send it, and because of that, they'll like determine stuff. So I just wonder how that's going to affect brand deals. I honestly don't really care if they take likes away. I think it's kind of good because, like what we've been saying if a picture doesn't get this certain many likes, we feel like we have to do something or like have
We
to
won't post it
certain way.
again, yeah.
Right.
But
so-
will we still be able to see our own likes, but other people won't be able to see our own
I think
likes?
the deal is that you'll see your own, but just the public won't see it.
See, I don't know about that. I think maybe they should just make it to where no one gets to see any likes.
Because even then, if I post something and it doesn't get as many likes as my other pictures, I'm still gonna feel like, dang, people hate me.
Yeah.
No, I won't feel that way, but
I guess like, I can definitely see for the average user, right, who isn't an Instagram influencer, who isn't making money from it, I can definitely see how it would be beneficial. It's like even though it's not really a pressure when it boils down to the things that are important in life, it is, for everyone. So they've all of a sudden had this number taken away, so then it sort of releases that pressure to only post what does well. So then all of a sudden, you'd think, I guess the theory is that people will just feel less pressure. They go, hey, like, yeah, here's that close-up selfie, and here, what was it, a pomegranate? What was it in your hand?
Little pomegranate.
Oh, here's a pomegranate in my hand, because I feel like posting, and that's what I think is funny. You know what I mean? I really do hope that if this does get implemented, that's the effect it has. I just, I can also see it from your point of view as well.
It's just a weird thing.
It is weird.
I think I kind of lean more onto the side where it might be a good thing.
I think it's definitely going to be a better thing. But do you remember when Instagram back in the day would use when you would look at who's liking your photos, it would only say names at first, and then once you hit like the mark where it finally turns to like 10 and above likes, you were like, oh yes, I've got a lot of likes. Do you remember how it only used to say names? That's crazy.
I do remember that. Yeah.
But in a sense, that's still like what Instagram is basically talking about, like.
Yes, double digits.
Yeah, double digits.
11
likes. Yes, you don't even see the names anymore. You have to click on it to see who liked it.
That's funny.
Oh my
Excellent throwback. It's funny coming from you who have got such big social following numbers that you actually remember that.
Oh, I thought Instagram was just a picture editing app when I first got it. My first pictures on Instagram don't even have captions.
Yep.
I had to delete some because I was posting the most random pictures with filters and just posting them to Facebook. And then when one day I saw I had 10 followers and someone liked my photo and I was like, people can see these? I was like, oh no. So I had to delete the ones that were like not okay for people to see.
That's hilarious. I'm going to do one more segment called 5 First. So we're going to take some fan questions and then I'm going to let you get out of here. How about that? Cool. All right. So this is a segment I do with everyone and we always get some funny responses. So 5 First. A first job. Did you guys have have you ever had regular jobs or you went straight into YouTube?
We never had regular jobs, but we were acting before YouTube. And
we were acting first 11, 12?
10, 11.
10, 11, 12.
But my first job I ever had was for a Build-A-Bear commercial.
But me too. You saw her face in the commercial, and I was in a different Build-A-Bear commercial, but you only saw my hands.
Still counts.
They couldn't decide between
Still
us,
counts.
so they used her hands and
I'm
mine.
just saying, it paid for braces.
It did. It did pay for braces.
So technically, that was our first job where we made money and we were able to help support our family and help pay for braces.
But have we ever had like a normal job where we go in at like 8 a.m. and leave at 5? Sadly, no.
Luckily, no.
Luckily,
So
no.
So when you say you had braces, are you guys trying to tell me you kind of went through a goofy stage? You went through an awkward stage?
Oh my
We
gosh.
did.
I
We
feel
went through a
like
very awkward
kids
stage.
nowadays have YouTube and YouTube tutorial, makeup tutorials, to not have a bad, weird, ugly stage. Because
had
every
one.
kid in middle school looks like our age now.
Yeah.
And I'm just or I
people
look
think
like
we're in
them.
middle school.
So, but yeah, we definitely had a very awkward.
We were wearing like
stage.
Hollister shirts
Our
with
mascara was smeared.
plaid shorts that go down to here.
Bermuda shorts.
And I would wear Nike Dunks with that outfit.
What age are we talking about here? Like,
That's middle school.
Middle school, right.
So
And
13,
braces,
14.
and then I'd wear this like little clip in my hair, always like
Yeah, we
this.
always wore clips in our
I always
hair.
had clips right here.
And then remember back in the Jersey Shore days where people would do bump it?
Oh my gosh,
that
yeah,
was
this
very
this
popular.
style where it was like
Very, very popular. And
It always
we
reminded me of a dinosaur, like a little dinosaur bump.
also lived lived and grew up in an area where there was a lot of fads, like trends that were only within the community that people would like get on. So there was these jeans called Miss
Small
Me
town
jeans.
trends?
Yeah, small town trends. There's these jeans called Miss Me jeans, and they were just decked out in diamonds. And if you didn't have a pair of Miss Me jeans,
you were not cool.
Get out of town.
But I had a pair, and one time I fell in them, and the diamond went into my hip.
Oh.
And I have a perfect circle scar on my hip because of it.
Love it. All right, 2 more. Do you remember the first concert you ever went to?
High School Musical! It was High School Musical, the concert, and Zac Efron was not there.
Oh, rude.
He was filming
filming
17
Grease.
again.
Oh.
What?
Oh, well, this was a while ago then.
Oh. Well, those were not Grease, hairspray.
Hairspray.
Same thing.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, same thing. All right, last one. First celebrity crush.
Oh my gosh. I think my first ever is Hayden Christensen. From Star Wars.
Who was up on your wall? In your bedroom back in Missouri?
Hayden.
No,
Who
he
was
was
on my wall?
not.
Who was on my wall?
Cristiano,
Ronaldo.
Zac Efron, Jesse McCartney.
Okay, Dave Franco, yes, but my first ever where I was like, I love him because I saw a movie about him was Hayden Christensen because of Star Wars.
I think mine would be like, I don't know. I can't even remember who was up on my wall, like poster-wise.
Nessa, you got any goss you want to give us on this? This is great having you two that you've grown up. You're like, that's not who you had on your wall. I
She
know.
didn't have posters on her wall,
No,
sadly.
I really didn't.
She really
And
didn't.
if they were like
girls.
Like she would always
Miley
get
Cyrus.
the good
I
posters.
always got the guys. You liked
always
Jonas Brothers?
Yeah, oh, they were pretty cute.
She liked Nick Jonas.
Nick Jonas, yeah. Nick Jonas.
It's true. True story.
I think Nick Jonas might have been
Might have been the first one. Yeah.
Or what's the
kid from Karate Kid.
Yeah, that's what I was literally
Daniel-san.
about to say him.
Yeah, but
Kid
only in
from Karate
Karate Kid.
Like the original one.
Yeah, when he was
Yeah, he's a
younger.
good looking
He was
barista back in the
good-looking.
day.
I
I
was
wonder
like,
what he looks like now. That's crazy.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, what does
Yeah.
he look like now?
Is this something? I mean, should we do it?
No, that's fine. We'll look it up later.
All right, I'll take a couple of fan questions and then we will let you get out of here. What is your most embarrassing moment or memory?
Sayeda Afrin. Did I say it right? Say it.
Okay,
What is your most embarrassing moment?
I was pantsed in kindergarten.
Still, the scar still burns, huh?
It burns so hard to this day. I was pantsed in kindergarten. Well, I was pantsed and pushed down.
That's a brutal combo. Brutal combination.
Really horrible. I was just getting a drink from the drinking fountain.
And was it Ronnie who did it or someone
No,
else?
it was a boy. It was weird.
So he definitely had a crush on you then.
I don't know. To this day, I remember his name, his last name, and sometimes I find him on Facebook and I'm like, what is he doing?
Yeah. What are you doing with your life? Look at me.
I don't remember my first embarrassing moment or most embarrassing moment. I mean, I just have a lot. I'm always embarrassed.
Yeah.
So I just try to avoid things. Like,
Our video we posted today.
Yeah.
Like the occasional fart in public.
When you just sit there hoping no one heard it.
or like people clearly know it's you.
If you like what you saw, make sure you check out some of our other videos right here, and also be sure to subscribe to our channel right here for new videos coming out every week.